Listeners, you won't believe what I've found in the library. But I want to talk to you about some other things first, so greetings and salutations, dear listeners and Dream SMP members, and welcome back to Radio SMP. Okay, listeners, I have found some old, very old history books in the library about the Dream SMP. Not just the time as when L'Manberg was founded, but even before that. It's incredible. But before we can get to that, I would like to address, other news. Things you might have heard or may not have heard of. For example, what you probably have heard of because it's everywhere. Wilburs, the Wilburs, who went insane founding Poctopia after being thrown out of L'Manberg. Well, Manberg, without the L. The Wilburs, who blew up L'Manberg just after reclamation. The Wilburs that should have been dead. For a long time now. Well, after Tommy got resurrected, what really can be dead anymore? Let's be real about that. But that was just another, probably, flex that Drain can bring back people we know already. Okay, we can't kill him. Sometimes I wish we could, but they could. We still, kinda. You know what I mean, listeners. But, honestly, what is going on? I mean, he has been going around and apologizing to people. I mean, that's a good thing first. He apologized for all the things he's done wrong so far. So, I guess there's some hope he changed? I mean, I really want to believe that. And he seemed like a nice guy, so... Well, he seemed like a nice guy now. And other things he talked about was, for example, the time referendum as it happened in the afterlife. Different from how it is here. I mean, we've heard it from Tommy already that the afterlife is apparently slower, much slower than the real world, or the overworld here. A life world, if you will. Listeners, Wilbur himself claims he was dead for 13 and a half years. Now that is a lot of time, and I really hope he has changed for the better. I mean, he went around apologizing to everyone. Even Skeppy, and I don't think they had so much wrong in between, but I could be wrong about that. But other than that, with Wilbur's return, there have been an increased sightings of Endermen around, Old L'Manberg, and, generally everywhere, Wilbur has been sighted. I just now noticed maybe there's something to do with each other? I have no idea. Honestly, listeners, I would be really thrilled to hear your theories about that. I mean, what if it is connected with each other? That would be so awesome. Well, not awesome is a different word. Is a difficult word in this scenario. It would be interesting. Why would the Enderman follow him? Maybe the Enderman, because they can teleport to the afterlife, and I don't know. I mean, he definitely seems different and stuff, and maybe, just maybe, he has changed for the better, and I don't know, befriended the Enderman. Listeners, wouldn't that be nice? I mean, with all that's been going on the server right now, would it hurt to be a little bit optimistic? I mean, the egg has proven definitely that we cannot possibly trust anyone anymore at this point. But I would still like to believe that founding father of L'Manberg, Wilburs, the man who brought the nation down with him, has changed for the better. I mean, 13 and a half years can do so much. And I think he even had a gray hair. And don't usually elderly people, aren't they usually nicer? I mean, it's always the kind grandma from next door. Well, in my case, the nice elderly couple from next door that take care of me as soon as I get sick. So, hey, maybe he's better now, and he looks friendly enough. I'd say we give him a chance. What do you think, dear listeners? Should we give him a chance or not? I'm quite conflicted about this, but I really do want to think positive about this. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna stay positive about it. So, I say he has changed, and he has changed for the better. But, dear listeners, if you have any idea about the Enderman sighting, about the abruptly numerous Enderman sightings that came practically out of nowhere with Wilbur's return, please let me know your theories. The station inbox is always open. But on another note, to come back to the egg, well, the Empire, the members of the Empire itself, have been still, well, missing ever since the Red Banquet went horribly wrong for both ways in the end. And, well, while there are still no sights of Pong, Puns, Hannah X Rose, there has been a sighting of Aunt Frost and Bad Boy Halo. Though I don't know really if they're in disguise or have laid off, but they have started a new thing. Apparently, Lysandberg, not L'Manberg, Lysandberg is, now a thing. Practically next to Foolish Gamer's summer home, his gigantic pyramids and stuff. There has been a chunk that Bad Boy Halo has inhabited, with agreements of Foolish Gamers. So, I guess no hard feelings there. But, apparently Lysandberg, all to its disposed, I think, name, brethren, is on the verge of war, independence war, I'd say, with Foolish Gamers. And Captain Puffy. And Turbo? Okay. Apparently Turbo _, while exploring and going through the server and arriving at the summer home of Foolish G, has spotted Lysandberg and shortly decided to join the war, or, well, join the war that was about to happen. Or is going to happen now. What is happening on this server, honestly? I mean, okay, at the beginning it was fairly clear. There was a country of multiple founding fathers that wanted independence. And so they fought for independence. Now we have a literal sand tower and a wall. That's all the Sandberg is. A sand tower and a wall. And that's what they're fighting for. On grounds that aren't actually theirs. That's already been taken. And honestly, I don't even know on which side Turbo joined. There's nothing really descriptive about it. I mean, he has said that he is now, well, self-proclaimed president of Lysandberg. Someone is reminiscing of the old times. And on the other hand, he's there for destruction too. So, what? Oh my. I wish I could give you more insight on this, listeners, but Honestly, that's all I could get out of these cryptid notes that I've got about this topic. But other notes I have are some of the notes I'd like the most. Because maybe Tubbo is searching for some trouble along the way to get clear of yet another divorce that is coming to him. Listeners, I don't know what you've heard, but as far as I have heard, that after or before, I'm not really sure actually, the construction of the yellow you-know-what road that Turbo so gracefully graced upon the Arctic, there has been a little bit of disturbance and fight between Turbo and Ranbu, the platonic husbands. Well, that's just as far as rumors go, listeners. I don't want to lean too far out the window, but as far as I have heard, the juicy details are about Turbo being so much... Well, he is rummaging a bit, and I think that caused a bit of disturbance. Well, seemingly caused a bit of disturbance, as far as I've heard. Could all be just, just rumors that someone has spread to maybe hints a bit on this seemingly perfect couple. I mean, they're chaotic as is already. They have not built this yellow something road for nothing. I don't really want to say that word, but that's just what I heard, and it's quite intriguing. But other than that, I have sadly not heard any more rumors, other than there is supposedly a new quarry right next to the grounds of Tommy Innit himself. Big man Tommy Innit tried his hands, supposedly, on a new business. As notes say, he was supposed to be called the Drill Man, or Drill Master. Whatever that's supposed to mean, but... Right. Oh, now I see. Alright. Listeners, just so you know, Tommy has made up a new business. Acquiring stone. Not cobblestone, normal stone. So if you have any stone to donate or any stone to give, clear stone, just stone. No andesite, no cobblestone, no nothing, just stone. I'm reading off my papers. So if you have any normal stone, please make amends to maybe donate some or gift some to him, since my sources are saying that he has already been through some trouble to get some more. I heard he has been stolen from by Jack Manifold. His beacon was gone, and, well, Jack was the only other one on the server, and Captain Puffy was with him the whole time, so, well, that's where it went. But, okay, to be fair, he got it back, okay? But in all Jack Manifold fashion, which by now should really just be a synonym for Looney Tune villain, old-fashioned. Jack apparently tried to assassinate Tommy Innit by dropping an anvil onto him, with Tommy just standing there reading a sign, maybe standing in place. Of course he couldn't. The child is on something that he always runs around, but of course he couldn't stay still, so the anvil missed him and broke on the sign. To be honest, let's give Jack Manifold some credit, okay? He has been dead already, and he has come back to life by pure sheer force of will. Let's give them that, okay? He said hi to the devil and said nay bye, which is quite awesome, honestly. And if you ask me, it's quite a shame that Tommy Innit and Jack Manifold aren't on joint forces. Well, from Jack's perspective, because honestly, with Jack's determination and Tommy's chaotic willpower, I reckon they could kill God together. You know what? No, scratch that. I reckon Jack Manifold could kill God if he set his mind to it. Change my mind. You're welcome to. But I will probably not change my mind about that. And one other thing I will not change my mind about is that I will leave you all for the break.
I can't remember if it's all just in my head, if the you I knew is dead, if you're really as bad as everybody said. But I remember all the happy times we had before the world went mad, before it turned you bad. But dream, remember when we were the perfect team, and no one could ever get in between what we had, you and me. But you let the darkness in your mind take over till you left us all behind. I hope you're happy with the power now, 'cause you know you're all alone and no one knows how you changed so fast without us seeing it. And maybe if we paid attention, we could have stopped you, but we just lost you. Dream. Do you remember what you said back at the start? To trust you with our hearts, then we tore it all apart. You said make history, but was it all a lie? To get us on your side, I wanted you to die, but dream. I remember what we used to be, the words you said when we were all happy, just sap-nap you and me, before you let the world corrupt you, before we had no time to stop you. I hope you're happy with the power now, 'cause you know you're all alone and no one knows how you changed so fast without us seeing it. And maybe if we paid attention, we could have stopped you, but we just lost you. Dream. Maybe in time it can be what it used to be. You could remember how to harmonize to my melody. I know I'll wait till you can turn yourself around, 'cause you're a lost soul just waiting to be found. And I hope you're happy when you think of me, 'cause I know we still have some good memories. Though you changed, you could change back again. And when you do, we're waiting for you. Your musketeers, your friends who loved you, our dream. I wanna go back to how it used to be, 'cause I want you as more than just a pile of memories.
That was Memories by Barry Strawberry. I hope I pronounced that right. But listeners, finally I can tell you about the history books I found about that Dream SMP. You see, we all know that there has been a lot of history now, around 7 or 8 years of history ever since Lemberg was founded and, everything started. But apparently, there is so much more to it. I can finally talk about it. I'm sorry if I seemed like I've been rushing all the time, but I just am so excited to tell you about this. Listeners, I have found history books that date back hundreds of years of history on the Dream SMP. I am so... I don't know. It's exciting and so interesting and intriguing at the same time. I've read through some of the chapters, not all of them though, and there are so many more books I've seen, and I don't know, it's quite confusing but also really, really intriguing, so I'd love to share it with you guys. Well, the first chapter that I found that dates back, for now, from what I found up until now, dates back the latest. At around, 300 or 400 years ago, on the Dream SMP, when it all started, when the first players had to colonize, there was this little village. The story, the history calls it the town, or, the village that went mad. It's really interesting. It's about all this stuff that there was this mysterious man that came out of nowhere, and suddenly this whole town went into some sort of, I don't know, madness or something that fell over them, that prompted them, and... Oh, I'm sorry, give me a moment, listeners, it's just... Okay, I have found myself again. I'm just really excited to talk about it. I might be a little bit of a history nut when it comes to things like this. That's why it's so interesting for me. It's, okay, so, there was this town that supposedly went mad. And in that, I mean, you see... Okay, let's start from the beginning. So, around 300 to 400 years ago, there was this town. And out of nowhere, one day, is this guy that came along and just wanted to stay for a while. Right? He just wanted to stay for a while. He came there and he left. Pretty unscathed. But you can't tell that about the rest of the town. Now, it's blurry in history actually what exactly happened there, but all of a sudden, killings and murder took place. It never happened before in this town, but all of a sudden it happened, and the murderer wasn't even in sight. The murderer was never found. Some speculated that the mysterious stranger was the murderer, but there are strong evidence that it wasn't. And, the first evidence led to this man. You see, a blind man who kinda adopted one of the orphans at this town, and... but people didn't really believe him that he was blind. And so, back in the day, it was fairly common to see one eye for another, so if you took one man's life, you gotta pay with your own life. And so he was publicly executed for murder that he didn't commit, but they didn't know until after it. And, you see, the sad thing about this is that after that it just went kinda haywire as far as the records go. And there are so many records. I mean, there are even records about it with like letters from the mayor's wife going out to the butcher and back, like some sort of affair. And, well, not to mention that, the mayor was murdered as well. Well, nearly everyone in this town got murdered, either by public execution, because they were believed to be the murderer, or by, well, being murdered by the murderers, or murderer. And there is still so much to see, because apparently the traveler had some connection to some of the people there that, well, enough that they've trusted him, even though he completely... No, you know what, listeners? The craziest thing is that this mysterious traveler, he appeared out of nowhere, and then just disappeared into nothingness, just as fast and mysterious as he came to be. And, well, he left nothing behind. This town does not exist anymore. I have tried to find the ruins as at least some sort of accords or records other than the history book or history books I found, but there's nothing. And listeners, this is not the only thing that happened. There are so many more stories, so much more history on this server, and it's so intriguing. You know what, listeners? I have shortly decided, right now, out of this moment, that whenever there is, well, not so much happening on the server to report on, or not so much gossip to talk about at the moment, I am going to tell you some more of those history, well, ancient history more or less, because it's centuries old. And that's just this story. I've not read further anymore because I've only found this one book where where it's about this topic, but I'm going to go back into the library and see if I can find even more of those history books to talk about. Most definitely. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And one thing that is even more interesting about this whole story is there have been some portraits of some of the more infamous members, like, for example, the mayor of this little town, or the first main culprit in this whole story. And you know what, listeners? Those portraits in the history books, they look so familiar. Not only familiar, I mean, some of them look like people from the RadioSMP right off today. I mean, for example, the mayor of this town, his face looks so much like, you know, one of the people right now. From the portraits, he looks like Bad Boy Halo. And it's so... it's just really, really interesting. And I'd love to tell you so much more about these histories. And you know what, listeners? I will do that right off the bat. I'm gonna go to the library and see if I can find more of those history books. I mean, they're so interesting. Especially the one thing I have noticed. Well, the main story in this book, and one other thing that got touched on. This mysterious traveler. I mean, he came out of nowhere and disappeared just as he appeared. And that in both stories. Well, there is in both stories one traveler that appeared and disappeared just suddenly. And it's honestly so interesting. I don't know, it's so exciting to think about, so mind-boggling. But I don't want to talk for too long anymore. I have so much reading I want to do now. So, and who knows, maybe I can find a little something about if Foolish was longer on the SMP than all of us know, or maybe if Arid was there before we knew. I mean, they joined pretty early, so maybe that's why they have their way around the server and then around people's heart, maybe. Stop it. So with that, I'm gonna release you for today, for this week's episode, because that's it for today. This was Radio SMP. I am your host, Adrian, and I bid you all a farewell.